GBA fans, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jolt.
And my name is Crobat for the win.
And yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed the GBA Finals for Season 10. If you haven't seen that already, it's right here on the GBA channel if you want the third-party perspective. Or, of course, make sure to go check out the Finals uploads from our finalists, who were QtheCostaRican and GoldoaDragon. So links to those videos we'll make sure to put down in the description below, as well as our, GBA commentary over it from Aster and from Randy, our defending champion prior to this season. So yeah, very awesome match, super close too, so you make sure to give that a look.
Yeah, I just really want to emphasize that we really want you guys to go check out the coaches' commentaries for them. Go show them some love. They fought hard all season, both of them, so they deserve it. So shout outs to both of them.
But with that said, today is a very special video for you all, and basically conclusion video for the channel for this season. And we wanted to take the time to make sure we really recognize all the people who helped make this season possible, because it takes a lot of hands to make this type of season happen. And those people absolutely need to be recognized for all the work they put in for us for the season. Just as admins, these people helped us out a ton with a lot of the background things that were happening, or just the videos that you saw on this very channel throughout the season, and also the coaches for all their hard work too. So you want to start us off here, Danza?
Yeah, so first off, we really wanted to say a big thank you to cbmarcus, because he helped us tremendously with graphics automation. The dude's a Photoshop wizard, and he turned some of the original artwork that we made and just made it automated. And I don't know, it's probably saved us hundreds of hours, to be honest, of manually moving stuff around. Huh?
As at minimum, right? It saved us so much time. So yeah, huge shout out to cbmarcus. If you ever need to have your graphics automated, make sure to give him a shout. Just also shout out to all of our analysts and the people who helped with analyst work throughout the season, including the preseason interviews way back. I don't even know what month that was. It was like in the summer when we started doing that, I think. All the way through the draft stream, and then the weekly videos that we saw here on the channel. Aster J, Gym Leader Geo, Randy HLD, Zilix, Cahoots, Tom Z, Monatui, Galactic Elliot, The Confusion, and Vivid Color also helped with the draft stream earlier on in the season. So many names helped us out throughout this, and I think that was just really awesome to see so many different perspectives, I thought, throughout it. So big thank you to all of you.
For sure, and I really liked that they all didn't have a dedicated show or a dedicated time slot. I really liked having that diversity of thought and opinion from our analysts. So good work to all of them. Thank you so much from me as well. So we want to say a thank you to our preseason tournament moderators. There were many of them, but everybody helped out during the tournament, so thank you. Of course, our coaches and assistant coaches who just killed it this season.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you all witnessed it, right? So much of the content that you all saw from the coaches this season, both the head coaches and the assistant coaches who stepped in when they were needed, just really on point. I, personally really enjoyed watching these coaches, and the content game across the board was, you can really tell, like me and Danza both having really taken a step away from draft format for a few years and coming back to enjoy the scene. Like there's really been a big step up in content creation quality across the board, and I think our coaches showed that throughout the season, really put their best foot forward, and we hope that you all enjoyed watching them too, because I know I sure did. Yeah, in case we forgot anyone that helped us out this season, trust me, we really appreciate everything that you did throughout it. It's very much appreciated, and just truly thank you from both of us.
For sure. And we also just want to give a big congratulations to the Season 10 champion, QtheCostaRican.
That's right.
Once again,
hopefully not a spoiler.
Amazing.
Hopefully not a spoiler. It's been a week. You've had time.
Yeah, people should know by now. But the dude just grinded out the whole season, finished 5th place, and still ended up coming back and winning the whole thing. And that's honestly just super impressive. Biggest congratulations.
Absolutely. And of course, congratulations to our runner-up, GoldoaDragon, as well. Phenomenal season. For both of those guys, just awesome people and awesome battlers too. So
I just want to take a moment to appreciate too that it was the 5th and 6th place seeds that ended up making it into the championship. I love a good underdog story. I really do.
It's kind of the name of your story, isn't it? You tend to slide in there as the underdog, huh?
Yeah, just barely.
It's usually how it goes.
I mean, I'm GBA Season 1. I wasn't... I think I got like second in a division or something like that. A division of 4 and was expected to lose. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about our coaches and our season now. So
absolutely. So we wanted to make sure we took the time to give credit where credit's due, and just overall really a fun season. So much happened this season, right? And just fun to be reintroduced to the format and just see what the future looks like for the draft league community. And anyway, the other purpose of this video is to bring you all a special presentation of the GBA All-Star Game. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened for the GBA. If it did, Danza might know. Was it way back in the day? Has there ever been an All-Star Game before?
I think there were a few. I don't know if they're lost to time or not. I don't remember if they ever... I don't think they put them, at least in the old days, on the GBA channel, but I do believe, like GBA Season 1, there was an All-Star Game that was played. It might have been on one of the coaches' channels.
Okay, I gotcha. So it may have happened before, but at least it's been possibly 10 years since the last one happened. So we wanted to bring that to you all again as a celebration of the 10 seasons of the GBA, 10 years of the GBA. So we can take a look at the teams that are going to be on display here. One thing that needs to be noted is kind of how these teams were selected, right? So in theory, you would think, okay, the All-Star Game is going to be the 10 best Pokemon for throughout the season, like the top 10 on the kill leaderboard, for example. But that's not how we did it. How we did it is we made it based on the GBA Fantasy League, which a lot of the fans were taking part of through our fan server throughout the season. And there were 2 different groups that were in kind of our sweepstakes league, is what we called it, who put a lot more time into selecting specific Pokemon throughout the season who they thought were going to do well, and they worked their way all the way up to this championship game and competed against each other as the 2 strongest fantasy teams in the entire league. So the teams that are on display here in this game are actually going to be the teams that were used in the finals by our 2 fantasy league finalists. So head coach SceptileMC will be donning the team from the Hawaiian Komaos, which had an S-tier Dragapult, which we all know had a fantastic season, Skeledirge in the A-tier, Gardevoir in the B-tier, Regieleki in the C-tier, Ursaring from the D tier, and in the flex slot, which basically just means they could pick any Pokemon from any tier, whichever Pokemon they thought would do well and was also on the roster that they had drafted earlier on in the season, they could go in that flex slot, and the Hawaiian Komaos selected Iron Valiant for that slot. So very powerful squad there that George SceptileMC will be donning for this matchup. And then on the other side, we have FC Victini Plzen? I don't know. I'm sorry. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. But that squad will be donned by DDubble, coach of the Edmonton Coilers. And there we have the S-tier Great Tusk, A-tier Meowscarada, B-tier Tauros, Paldea, Blaze, C-tier Uxie, D-tier Frostmoth, and in the flex slot we have the Galarian Zapdos. So really interesting matchup that we're going to see here, but we do want to make sure we're giving credit where credit's due once again for the top 10 kill leaders if we were to decide the matchups that way as opposed to taking more of this tiered fantasy approach. Dan's, I think, has the list pulled up for who landed in the top 10.
Yeah, so for highest KDR, we have Roaring Moon, Meowscarada, Iron Valiant, Dragapult, Great Tusk, Iron Moth, Dragonite, Saralege, Iron Bundle, Greninja, Skeledirge, and Gardevoir. It's technically not top 10, I think that's top 13, but there was a tie for the last 3, so don't come at me.
And yeah, tons of those names. Obviously, you can see them on the rosters for this matchup. So a lot of good representation there from the top 10. But the most notable omission is probably that Roaring Moon, who took home the MVP for the season with the most KOs overall. Unfortunately, it was not actually on either of the fantasy teams that advanced to the finals. So will not be making an appearance in this one. But instead, we will see the Dragapult and the Great Tusk, and I guess the Iron Valiant as well as the S tiers that'll be making their maybe putting on a show in this game. So we'll see what happens. One note on this, we did not allow any terrestrialization in this just because it's, there's some pretty dang good Pokemon there, and if multiple of them could terrestrialize, that'd be a little bit broken. So we decided to not allow that, but I don't know. That's really all there is to it. So we can go ahead and jump into the game here.
toe. We've got 2 teams in front of us. Wow, what a shocker. Can't believe these were the Mons brought.
Didn't see this coming. No, it's awesome. There's so many Pokemon here that we actually get to see now not having the Terra Crystallization option. The Iron Valiant and the Skeledirge both come to mind in this matchup as, being Pokemon that we saw Terra almost every single time that they were brought during the regular season. So it'll be fun to see them not be able to and to see what they're really able to do with their natural typing only. So they are going to go ahead and jump into this. It looks like we do have George's side, coach of the San Francisco Arcaniners on the near side, and then the Edmonton Coilers DDubble will be on the opposing side here as they start to jump into this game. So we'll see what the lead matchups are. I didn't catch what George selected there, but we do see the Galarian Zapdos.
Yeah, he picked the first one on the list, which was the Dragapult. And now we've got it kicked off.
Yeah.
2 excellent coaches. I cannot sing their praises higher as people and as coaches, regardless of whatever their records show, although Dell was pretty close. He almost clawed his way into the playoffs this season, so it would be pretty great to see if he can make some noise here to, get a little revenge for just barely missing out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even though George's record maybe wasn't as good as he had hoped, he still piled up a lot of points and ended up being basically middle of the pack by the time the season was over. So both of these coaches, fairly narrowly missed out on playoffs this season, and yeah, had the chance to compete here in the All-Star game. So one note for you all who are watching this at home, right? Let us know if you can figure out which battles these Pokemon sets came from throughout the season, because every single one of the movesets that you see here was brought at some point during the regular season by the coach who owned that Pokemon. So let us know down in the comments below if you can figure out where each one of these came from, or if you just know 1 or 2, that's okay too. Let us know on that as well.
And we got some first turn action here. Our pal Chocobo goes for that Brave Bird, almost KOs Dragapult, and Dragapult retaliates, not with the move Retaliate, but with Draco Meteor, and takes out Zapdos. So we get some sparks flying in this heated battle on turn 1. Shout out to anyone who knows where that line came from.
I'm dying over here. I love it. But yeah, we saw Galarian Zapdos do what it did best all season long, and just clicking Brave Bird and doing a ton of damage. So yeah, no surprise to see that, and the Dragapult with a huge hit in retaliation, picking up that first KO of the game. And now we see the Pokemon who threatened to be MVP very early on in that Meowscarada, which kind of tapered off near the end of the season.
Yeah, it really didn't do anything in those final few weeks. It may have been because the coach just decided not to bring it for a couple of those weeks, or just didn't make it part of the central game plan, I guess, even though it was an MVP early on. We see the Ursaring coming in to take a Dark Pulse from that Meowscarada. And
we
it does not do very much.
It's the special Meowscarada, though, which I guess we saw earlier when we were looking at the team, but I had forgotten that. So it's the special version of the Meowscarada coming out and doing a bunch of damage to Ursaring. But it's cool to see Ursaring running a Violite now. That's such a weird new change to competitive Pokemon to see that. But throughout the season, Q used Violite Ursaring multiple times, I know, and it did pretty well.
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for Ursaring, and I'm just glad it's actually usable now.
Totally.
It did really well for Q as well. It did really well. He brought it to the championship, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure he did. So, and as a D tier, so coming out of the bottom tier of draftable Pokemon, it did very well for being where it's tiered. So, yeah. The other Pokemon that surprised me is the Tauros forms, both the Aqua form and the Blaze form. I believe
It's a one-hit wonder!
Oh my goodness, down it goes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I had to say that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But both the Tauros forms really impressed me this season. I think Q actually had one of them on his championship team, and then I believe Dell's team had the other one. In both cases, they performed very well. And yeah, a lot of good utility in draft format, and the speed obviously helped. I think base 110 speed for both of them. They both proved to be extremely draftable Pokemon with good typing too.
For sure. But speaking of Tauros, it does fall to a heavy-hitting Draco Meteor, Specs Draco too. And we see Frostmoth coming in, hoping to claim some kind of revenge.
Yeah, Frostmoth, and we saw a 6-0 from Frostmoth earlier in the season. I think it was one of the last couple weeks coming from just Weavile squad, and it'd be interesting to see what's about to happen here. We may see the Quiver Dance come out, but we just see a straight Ice Beam into the Skeledirge, so really nice switch in there from George, predicting just a straight-up attack. If this had just gone for a I guess it can't Terra is what I was thinking. It could have been Terra Ground, but nope, I almost spoke too soon. It can't Terra. This was a Terra captain on the Wolverhampton Weaviles this season, so not having that ability does neutralize it a little bit for this matchup, I would say. And by that, I mean a lot.
For sure. Now we're seeing the Frostmoth get out of there, going into our pal Great Tusk. It's going to take a Torch Song. Let's see how much that does. About half.
That's pretty good damage, though. This looks like it might have some offensive investment. I don't recall, again, on the EV spread on this guy, but yeah, Great Tusk didn't take that very well, really. That thing's generally quite bulky, and I just realized that we saw the Great Tusk and the Frostmoth here back-to-back, which, if I do recall, were the two Pokemon that secured 6-0s for Just Weavile late in the season. So interesting to see both of those here on the All-Star team as well. I guess they really made an impact on the participants in the fantasy league to want to bring them here to the finals.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, sorry, one note, I almost misspoke there too. The Great Tusk, if I do recall, was the Pokemon that actually won the fantasy finals for Geel. And I know I was going to say this wrong. I was trying not to say the names. I knew I'd mess it up. It's either Geel or Geel, who was the champion of our fantasy league, who had brought this Great Tusk to the fantasy matchup for the finals, and getting 6 KOs, or at least clinching the 6-0 in one of those last weeks, certainly helped to bring home that title.
Yeah, and as we go back to the game, it looks like the Great Tusk is using those big tusks and taking out Dragapult. Ooh, a jetpack. That's interesting. Yeah, we knew the sets ahead of time, but you honestly think we memorized them?
No, we didn't look too closely at those. We were more looking at the Pokemon that were brought and why they were brought, not really the sets. We're just going to be surprised along with, anyone else who skipped over the team preview, like I know a lot of you guys do. I'm looking at you right now. You know I am. So we're going to see maybe... Nope, not the Iron Valiant. What is George going to go into here? Uxie is not an easy Pokemon to take down, and it's interesting to see that on a fantasy lineup because Uxie really didn't get many KOs this season. So
that's true.
There must have been a hunch that maybe Uxie was going to go for a sweep there in the last season, but I don't recall if that happened or not.
I don't believe so. I like the potential Gardevoir trick Scarf. I also just love Scarf Gardevoir. I've carried that with me since GBA Season 1 when I used it against Shady Penguin. Fun times. But we'll see what he goes with.
I'm personally a fan of the Assault Vest Gardevoir set. Shout out to all of you who know what I'm talking about against Lord Envy. Good times. But the Regieleki does come out here, and we see the probably the Thunderbolt play. Are we just going to go for chip damage on the Uxie, maybe?
Could be, but I could also see a sub in case of any other type of shenanigans like Toxic, or a U-turn may not even break the sub, so that could potentially be an option too. I feel like sub would be the safest.
Sub is probably safer if a U-turn doesn't break it.
We're just going to straight up switch. Yeah, which is, I guess, better than a U-turn.
And this was a fairly obvious switch into the Regieleki. Great Tusk. I mean, it can obviously take the Thunderbolt. It's not going to enjoy the acrobatics. I believe this thing is still holding its item, though, so until that is consumed, Acro is going to be quite a bit weaker. But I assume it's a pretty easy acrobatics play here on George's side, and I don't know. I think Dell's pretty well forced to just break the sub at this point.
Yeah, that did pretty good damage. Even not... Oh, that was a crit.
Big crit.
That's why. I was shocked when I saw that much. For it being on 55 damage. I think it's still 55, right? For acrobatics without item?
I think it's 55. I'm pretty sure, unless they changed that on me. But even so, probably a 2
They probably did.
Way. Especially with
they probably did. They changed everything since we were playing.
Yeah, it'd be extremely difficult to pick up this game after not playing for 2 generations. That's all I'm saying. They changed a lot of things.
And to be good competitively, geez. Yeah. He's going to try to set up another sub. We're going to get a Headlong Rush. Okay. Breaking the sub, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Regieleki
next week.
Not the bulkiest Pokemon in the world. That's for sure here, but plenty of speed to go around, but not much on the bulk side.
For sure. Now, is he going to try to set up a sub again and try to get a stat boost?
could see it. I don't recall what priority options were available on the opposing team, but outside of Scarfers, I mean, Regieleki is not going to get outsped, so it's priority or Scarfers if he's going for... Oh, we just see the Acrobatics come out, so does not have any sort of berry activation yet.
Yeah, I think that crit did matter, though. I mean, I don't think he would have KO'd with those 2 without the crit.
Well, there was also the defense drop from the previous move.
Oh, so, yeah. You know what? That's true. Very true. So, yeah, the Great Tusk goes down. So we got Uxie coming back out. Tough situation for George, because Uxie is going to eat anything from that. I still really like bringing in Scarf Gardevoir and trying to trick it. I'll see if that's what he goes for. It looks like maybe he's thinking about it right now.
Yeah, this Uxie is definitely standing in the way of... There's like a lot of offense on George's team here. Behind, the Ursaring maybe not super offensive in this case, but Iron Valiant, Gardevoir, Regieleki, even the Skeledirge. I mean, I'm sure it's more of a defensive set, but without the Terra typing, it's probably going to end up being a little more used as an attacker, I would assume. I mean, maybe it has a better typing matchup than what I recall, but he really needs to weaken down this Uxie, and it just depends on what he wants to potentially put in harm's way by leaving it in against the Uxie, because nothing's going to knock it out in one hit, but something has to damage it, and we're going to see the Gardevoir coming out here. Maybe, like you're saying, maybe he is going to try to go for that trick.
I mean, I think that's got to be what he's gunning for, because I don't think Gardevoir can do too big of damage otherwise. I mean, yeah, the Shadow Ball, but I bet that's a 3-hit KO, depending on its... Maybe even a 4-hit KO, depending on its set.
Interesting to see the Encore come out, though.
Interesting. Yeah, he's just got to be careful about tricking. I don't remember offhand what his what Dell's last 2 Mons are, but if for some reason he tricks them, okay, don't even have to speak. But I was gonna say if he tricks to the wrong thing, could be in trouble. But giving this thing a Scarf
is pretty ideal.
Excellent. Yeah, that's perfect. And Citrus Berry ain't half bad either. So does this? Yeah, this thing had Trace, I believe, not Synchronize.
Yeah, Synchronize is fairly uncommon, so Trace, not going to help you too much in this case. I think it does have the Levitate, but catching the Paralysis does pretty well neutralize an offensive Gardevoir.
Yeah, it helps, but I think the Trick Scarf, I think that was a worthy trade for George. I would take a Paralyzed Gardevoir with a Uxie locked behind a Scarf, 100%.
We see the Frost Moth come back out here, and the Regieleki pops back out as well. So this thing does have the bug typing. Acrobatics would be quite strong. Does not have much on the defensive side, so be interesting to see if we just see the Acrobatics come out, or if George is going to attempt to put up another substitute and maybe put a little more of a dent in the team.
Yeah, he definitely could. I don't think the Acrobatics will KO, but hey, he's just looking to get some damage, I suppose. Yeah, that's about what I was going to say, 60% maybe.
An Ice Beam should be able to knock it out. Yep, and down goes the Regieleki.
Another thing, too, to note, the Regieleki was not allowed to Terra this season, so this actually weirdly puts it on a more even playing field with everything else, now that we think about it.
That is a very good point, right? That was, I think, the only Terra ban that we had for the entirety of the allowed roster was that Regieleki, so this does even the playing field for it in that sense, absolutely.
Yeah. It looks like George is going back and forth between a couple things here. Now a third thing. He's jumping around.
Everything's an option. I don't know. Just click something. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
But he seems very interested in Ursaring right now. What do you think makes sense, though? Skeledirge? I feel like if you get the Fire type, right?
Yeah, my hunch is he's worried about something in the back, potentially. Yeah, I don't have the team preview up right now to see what's left, but I would imagine Ursaring would be kind of like a safe play since it can take any hit, but Skeledirge does have the opportunity with Torch Song to raise its special attack, and maybe he's thinking, oh, this could be an opportunity to get a little boost and continue to put on pressure, but he's actually looking at the Yawn potentially. Maybe he's fearing the Quiver Dance here.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's reasonable.
Nope, he goes straight for the Torch Song.
That's also fun. I mean, depending on investment, depending on everything, if he does go for Quiver Dance, I wonder if he could live the Torch Song. Nope, not even a concern.
Straight up for the Ice Beam.
I don't think he can freeze a Fire type.
Nope, and it's not going to be able to survive that, but he does get the special attack boost, so that does help absolutely with George's offensive pressure at this point in the game. Frostmoth going down, maybe not the biggest loss in the world, but Dell is quickly running out of Pokemon here in this matchup.
Yeah, but he does have the Meowscarada here, which it definitely, while it went quiet late season, it's a heavy hitter. So we'll see what it can do. That said, George has still not brought Iron Valiant out in the field, I don't believe once, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another heavy hitter that could get sent out on the field and cause some damage for Dell. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, Iron Valiant, just extremely hard to revenge kill. I mean, it's extremely fast, extremely strong. There's a reason why it's one of the absolute top 5 Pokemon in format. It may even be ban-worthy in some people's eyes, but, you know, especially with Terra in particular. So that thing extremely strong and currently still unharmed. But we do see the Ursaring come in to eat up a hit from the Meowscarada. It takes it very well and going to force it out here.
And we're getting a Choice Scarf Uxie, which should be interesting to see. I don't see just trying to basically fodder it off. Like, I don't know what Uxie's really gonna do. Well, let's see. Maybe is he gonna try to like Toxic or something? Thunderwave? But then again, if Rest Talk is typically common on a Ursaring,
yeah.
Oh, maybe Zen Headbutt flinches?
That's got to be the play, right? Because I think Dell is down to this and the Meowscarada. I don't think there's another Pokemon left, so he really has to try to weaken this Ursaring enough for Meowscarada to have a chance to pick it off. And that's going to be hard to do without a bunch of flinches. So that's definitely, I think that's the right play at this point. I don't think there's anything else Dell can really do here.
For sure. Oh, we got a small misclick by George. I think he meant to click Sleep Talk, and he just clicked the wrong move.
Whoops.
Then again, this thing is Levitate, and it could have picked Rest. So there was only a 1/3 chance he was going to do any damage anyway. But yeah, let's see what he gets this time.
Rest. See the rest once again. Sleepy Bear.
I didn't realize it was winter in Pokemon Land.
Be interesting to see how George plays this too. With it being the All-Star game, he might just take it easy and go for Body Slam, but generally, you know, Rest is a pretty safe, easy play at this point if you would want to, I think. But it looks like he's just going to opt to attack.
See if he gets the flinch. Nope.
No flinch this time. If he gets the paralysis, that would neutralize the flinch chance, and maybe that's what he was going for too.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what he's doing. I think as long as he doesn't get crazy flinches, I think Ursaring can actually bring this home.
I think there's a chance, but the sleep turns are gonna make it harder, I think, for Ursaring to really drive it home.
Of course, he does it again. He clicks Rest again.
What is George doing? Oh, what is
George
doing?
There isn't a bonus point for clicking Rest while you're asleep.
This is where we need that face cam of what is George thinking? You know, like he had so many great reactions to random misclicks and stuff that happened throughout the season. Very un-George-like when those things happen, but you know, it'd be fun to have a little face cam when those things go down.
Absolutely. The dude, it just really knows how to entertain. Is just such a solid coach, good guy, just all around. And Dell as well. Both these coaches are terrific.
Totally.
So regardless of who wins, I definitely would rather be George right now. That is a certainty.
Yeah, George is certainly in the better position at this point. You know, especially when you look at the Iron Valley, and I don't, if I recall, I think the Meowscarada set that Dell brought is Choice Specs. I think that was the only pure special Meowscarada that we saw throughout the season. So with that being the case, it may be a cleanup by the Iron Valiant regardless at this point. But we do see the switch out now into the Gardevoir. Maybe George is ready to push the issue here and see if we can bring this game to the final few turns.
That makes sense, though, honestly, because it's locked into Zen Headbutt. I mean, may as well, right?
Right. No, it's pretty free.
Yep. You know what? Paraflinch is definitely a strategy, though.
It's the play.
Yeah. George has other outlets to win, even if he gets paraflinched out. But, let's see. You get the... Oh, yeah, that Citrus Berry, right? Didn't he get a Citrus Berry, if I'm not mistaken?
That looked like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so no paraflinching today.
And the Uxie does go down to the Gardevoir, leaving one Pokemon remaining for DDubble's side here, which is that Meowscarada. So it is choice locked, I believe. It's the set I recall. So I think we're going to be stuck with one move and one move only on the other side here of our screen. And we will see what the Meowscarada chooses to lock into.
Dark Pulse. It's going to be Dark Pulse.
Big damage, big damage, and paralyzed once again, so the Meowscarada should be able to pick up a KO here.
Yeah, I think George will just let this thing die. There's no advantage to trying to switch around or trying to get a 4-0 win. He's on the verge of getting a win. That's really all that matters, given it's the All-Star game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, what do we think we're going to see here as the last Pokemon? I assume the Iron Valiant. There
for
it is.
Sure. Yep, there it is.
Give everyone some screen time. Thank you, George.
Perfect.
See the booster energy. Yep.
There's the drive, yeah. Alright. Oh yeah, like
Focus blast if real, George. Come on now. No. You gotta focus blast that guy. Oh, don't be lame. Come on, George.
It would be hilarious. I still think Ursaring would potentially bring it back regardless.
Encore would be funny.
Even if he decided to lose, but
Encore would be funny. He's encore? Is that what I just saw? Thank you.
Can't
Thank
think
you,
of
George.
a more fitting way to end the season with an encore from George.
No, hit a focus blast. Oh, come on.
You know what though? To his credit, maybe he was thinking the possibility of like Focus Sash or something, and was like, I don't want to get hit with something else.
Maybe.
Or maybe he just thought it was funny.
That's it. We'll have to ask him about that. I'd like to know now. But wow, awesome game.
Yeah, and great game to both. Great game to, or many games honestly, to all of our coaches this season, and just a fun season.
Yeah, absolutely. We all had a lot of fun this season, a lot of cool memories, and we hope you all enjoyed it too. And yeah, it was fun to be back, right? The GBA finally comes back after so many years, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed the ride with us. So, I don't know. I think that about wraps up the season for us. Any final remarks there, Danza?
Yeah, I think all I got to say is I've been away for 3.5, 4 years and came back to help out with this, and I'm really glad we actually saw it to completion and we got to crown a champion. We had so many great coaches, so many great people helping, so many people came together to make this happen. So just once again, a big thank you to everybody for making the season 10 of the GBA a reality.
Absolutely, and I'm also glad that we finally get to take that crown off Randy's head, because I think it was starting to go to his head. He had it for 3 years. Like, come on, someone else had to have the crown. So I'm glad Q has it now.
Yeah, I mean, it started rusting too. He just kept it on a shelf, and he doesn't run a dehumidifier in his home, so I'm sure it was getting rusty.
Something had to happen. It was for the greater good.
Don't worry, we polished it before sending it to Q.
Alright, guys. Thank you so much for all the support this season. We love you all. And we will see you all next time. Later.
Take care, guys.